Jadi Bang,
Iya.
yang kita lakukan adalah setiap produk kalau di scan,
Oke. Oh, di scan pakai handphone ya?
di scan pakai handphone, ada NFC-nya, itu one of one.
Oh, dia langsung ada ini ya, ada
Langsung.
klaim nama saya juga ini ya.
Betul.
Oh, oke. Ini nih.
Nah,
Ini ada
tuh.
nih. Oke, balik lagi kita di Bellpots untuk seri yang mungkin ke-70 kali ya. Jadi kita udah bahas banyak hal, udah 70 topik, tapi never sleep. Kripto itu tidak pernah tidur dan juga 24 jam online. Dan kita membicarakan banyak hal karena disinilah kripto, dunia di mana institusi keuangan sangat berkembang. Kali ini kita akan spesial bicara tentang salah satu token, ya banyak ngomong ini para KOL tentang token ini, katanya hype dan juga di belakangnya juga ada orang-orang besar yang mendukung ke token ini. Dan salah satu opening waktu itu grand launch-nya itu lumayan megah juga di Jakarta gitu ya. Jadi langsung aja ini kita perkenalkan, inilah dia Cash dan juga Miguel.
Halo.
Halo bro.
Halo.
Apa
kabar
Miguel,
Bang?
how are you bro?
Thank you for having us Bang. Terima
Oke,
kasih waktunya.
terima kasih.
Terima kasih diundang. Ini sebuah kehormatan buat kita untuk
Yeah.
hadir di sini. Dan kita sangat senang dan happy dan excited to
Yeah.
discuss with you.
Oke, thank you bro, thank you for coming to our home
Thank
ya.
you.
Oke, so ini dari DRX ya?
DRX
Oke,
token.
DRX. Jadi ini kebetulan ada dua orang asing ya. Satu Miguel ini bahasa Inggris, kemudian ini Bang Cash ini bisa semua bahasa dia.
Saya NKRI harga mati Bang, orang
NKRI
Indonesia.
bahasa ya?
Lahir di Indonesia.
Oh iya. siap,
Mukanya
siap.
nyasar. Mukanya India. Tapi orang
Alright.
Indonesia, let's go.
Bro Cash.
Yes.
Ini lu kan sebagai CMO dan juga founder ya?
Ya.
Oke, berarti the innovations, the ideas is
Ya.
come from you, right?
Ya.
Oke. Bisa cerita dikit gak bro? Ini lu bisa bangun DRX ini, what's the concept yang lu bawa nih ke
Ya.
Indonesia?
Jadi gini Bang, pertama adalah my love for sports ya, olahraga. Saya sekarang saya dari dulu cinta banget sepak bola. I love soccer.
Oh soccer ya.
Ya.
Siapa tim favorit lu sekarang?
David
siapa?
Beckham is my favorite player.
Oh player ya.
Kita sempat ketemu di FIFA World Cup kemarin.
Nice.
Tapi kalau tanya favorite team sekarang,
Barca.
Abang apa?
Aku Real Madrid.
Hala Madrid, tapi ya kacau. It's okay Bang. Jadi tim favorit Madrid, but long story short, saya 3 tahun lalu lah kurang lebih, saya temu masalah di industri.
Oke. Masalahnya apa itu?
Masalahnya adalah kenapa stadion itu bisa full penuh dengan supporter 20.000 orang yang memakai baju tim favorit mereka, tapi penghasilan terhadap baju tersebut itu tidak datang ke klub.
Oh, kenapa itu? Mungkin dibeli dari ini yang KW kali.
Itu dia masalahnya Bang.
Oh itu problem.
Itu adalah masalah terbesar, not just di Indonesia, di seluruh dunia, bahwa barang produk palsu itu lebih bagus daripada yang asli dan lebih murah daripada yang asli. Dan
itu nyata ya?
Nyata dan dijual sebagai asli.
Oh jadi barang KW dijual seperti asli?
Betul. Jadi kan kita ada total mess dan confusion bahwa supporter beli baju dari marketplace, tapi duitnya tidak ke klub. Berarti kan di tengah-tengah ini pasar counterfeit nih, produk-produk palsu nih. Ada mafia-mafia yang membuat barang-barang palsu ini gitu. Nah, itu problem yang kita temukan. Dan saya pikir Bang, kita juga di tech space ya. Menurut saya tidak mau lawan dengan mafia-mafia ini. Tapi saya akan nge-create produk, innovate produk with technology. Karena zaman sekarang semua masalah bisa diberesin lewat teknologi.
Dari situ muncul ya. Berarti keresahan lu sendiri ini sebenarnya berangkat dari banyaknya supporter yang menggunakan baju-baju palsu.
Betul.
Which is itu tidak mendukung finansial dari si pemilik klubnya, gitu ya. Tapi kan kalau menurut gue sih ini berlaku mungkin di Indonesia kali ya. Kalau di luar kan memang mereka istilahnya malu juga kan beli barang-barang palsu kan.
Tapi itu nyata Bang, di luar negeri juga sama. Masalah counterfeit produk ini bukan cuma di Indonesia, di luar negeri,
seluruh dunia
di
ya.
seluruh dunia itu ada gitu. Soalnya sekarang udah bukan zaman lagi bahwa kita datang ke toko belanja.
Oke.
Semuanya online.
Udah online ya.
Dan online kalau di marketplace kan kita nggak tahu.
Nggak tahu siapa ininya ya.
Siapa penjualnya kita nggak tahu.
Iya.
Bisa lah beli langsung dari website
official store ya.
Cuman ya that's why kembali lagi ke DRX Token bahwa kita adalah inovator pertama di dunia yang melakukan NFC chip di setiap baju. Jadi setiap produk DRX itu ada NFC chip yang dijahit dalam baju itu, dan semua produk one of one asli, tidak bisa dipalsukan.
Oke.
Jadi saya ada contoh sih kalau boleh kasih lihatkan contohnya.
Gimana, seperti apa coba? Bisa lihat ya?
Jadi ini Bang, kita bawa sedikit contoh buat Abang.
Oh, ini baju DRX.
Ini baju DRX. Nah, ini baju DRX, Abang. Ada contohnya, ya kan?
Nah, tokennya di mana nih?
Nah, jadi Bang, yang kita lakukan adalah setiap produk kalau di scan.
Oh, di scan pakai handphone ya?
Di scan pakai handphone, ada NFC-nya. Itu one of one.
Oh, langsung ada ini ya, ada klaim nama saya juga ini ya.
Betul.
Oke. Ini nih.
Nah,
ini
tuh.
Oh, berarti ini yang dijual bukan, maksudnya inilah inovasinya nih.
Ini inovasinya Bang. Jadi ini inovasinya, ya kan?
Iya.
Semua produk itu satu one of one. Ya kan? Jadi nomor 47864 cuman punya Bang Bel.
Iya.
Dan ini produk nggak bisa dipalsuin.
Kalau gua mau beli 2324
bisa? Nggak bisa. Nomor nggak bisa dipilih. Nomor itu udah random.
Random. Maksudnya system. Itu gue bisa juga, tapi gue bisa klaim itu.
Bisa. Jadi ini produk Abang bisa klaim di kita punya application namanya DRX Sportnet. Kami ada di App Store dan ada di Play Store. Setelah produk ini diklaim ke dalam aplikasi itu, ini produk menjadi NFT.
Oke.
Jadi ini produk udah jadi digital asset of you, dan kita kasih lifetime guarantee of the NFC jika produk ini udah diklaim.
Nah, salah satu mungkin 2 tahun 3 tahun yang lalu, bro, problem yang bisa di-solve di dalam blockchain itu adalah traceability. Nah, salah satu traceability ini adalah lewat, memang aku dengar dengan NFC gitu ya. Jadi kita tahu nih, ini barang perpindahannya dari mana ke mana, itu lewat traceability menggunakan blockchain tadi kan gitu. Nah, ini berarti udah nyampe ke sana nih pemikirannya ya.
Sudah Bang. Jadi sebenarnya kenapa kita membuat ini, karena kita pengen melacak dan trace semua transaction terhadap baju gitu. Semua everything about merchandising. Kita pengen lacak gitu. Hari ini misalnya sekarang contoh baju ini ditandatangan oleh David Beckham. Nah, Abang sekarang bilang saya mau auction ini baju, ini produknya bisa dilihat ya kan. Produk ini mungkin mau di auction untuk cause untuk maybe cancer or disability, apapun itu ya kan. Abang mungkin raise funds, baju yang ditandatangani ini dijual 100 juta.
Karena bisa aja kita tiru tanda tangan kan.
Betul, bisa aja banyak banget tiru tanda tangan.
Terus kita jualnya mahal banget.
Betul.
Gitu.
Nah, kalau ini kan
authentication-nya kita belum tentu.
Betul.
Nah,
kalau ini kan
cara NFT inilah ini yang bisa ya.
Betul. Dan di track on chain blockchain. Ada yang beli 100 juta, dia pindah ke account-nya yang beli. Gitu, everything is traced by the blockchain. So itu yang kita melakukan Bang, dan kita bangga untuk menyatakan bahwa kita pertama di dunia melakukan yang kita lakukan sekarang.
Iyalah, pertama di dunia sih. Kalau aku dengar dulu banyak kan traceability masih soal supply chain.
Betul.
Tapi supply chain yang dimaksud di situ sebenarnya tidak bicara tentang aset secara fisikal. Tapi secara aset dokumentasi gitu loh.
Betul.
Miguel, from your side, this is about blockchain, right? The traceability. What do you think about the traceability using this asset?
Again, I think this is a huge innovation, and when I joined DRX, this was one of the first things that I told Cash was like, this is an amazing idea because number one, you are fighting one huge problem in the sports industry. Number two, you are also integrating with the new technology, which is a hype thing nowadays, right? And the good thing about this is that users are able to check if their clothes, the baju or apparel, whatever is the case, it's legit, not only through the Sportnet app, but also through blockchain. The same way that you track a crypto transaction, you're also going to be able to track apparel or another item transaction on the chain. So I think this is a huge step also for the blockchain technology application in the apparel space.
Why you use blockchain. I thought that even you don't use the blockchain itself, actually this project or these systems can be done in a live network now. Why blockchain? Why?
Because blockchain, again, I don't think anyone would disagree with me, but I think blockchain is the only way nowadays that it's impossible to fake it.
Oh, impossible to fake it.
It's impossible to fake because the NFC traditional system, which was where we started and where we are migrating to a blockchain technology, the NFC traditional system is still possible to fake because you can just build a landing page and you can fake it. But if it's on the chain, there is no turnaround.
But now it's already on chain or not? The transactions you're doing for the NFC scanning?
Yeah, so currently we are in the process of testing. It's going to be deployed really soon. Yes, but this is the thing. We have all the data. So everyone that claimed up to date is going to be automatically migrated to the chain.
Oh, so now you are doing for the testnet.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so later on,
everyone's going to be on chain.
Because you know that if you use the blockchain, one transactions, you have to spend like a gas fee, right?
Gas fee, yeah.
And you said that now you are on the ERC20, which is the gas fee maybe like $20, $80 per scan, right?
Yes.
So it will be cost you, bro.
It's gonna definitely cost us, but it's gonna be worth it because, like Abang bilang, we're the first in the world doing it, we are loved by the fans because we are.
Okay, because the innovation you sell, right? It's not selling the t-shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
The innovations.
It's the innovation. And ini adalah salah satu gateway untuk mereka masuk ke dalam ekosistem kita, which is DRX Sportnet.
Okay, because you said that you have another ecosystem on it, like news, like flash scores, like maybe the other one like DeFi, right? Like a staking or something.
Yeah, so in the DRX Sportnet app, kita ada saat ini live score of semua tentang sepak bola, everything about football is there. Or live scores of your favorite clubs, our favorite clubs, maupun itu Liga 1, Serie A, Champions League. We have everything in terms of soccer. Kalau news semuanya olahraga related. Tapi very soon kita akan ada masuk ke space Muay Thai, masuk ke space paddle, masuk ke space esports.
Oh, every sport ya.
Every sports. Jadi kita lagi bikin sebuah ekosistem semua sports related. Bahkan kami sudah mulai proses untuk urus perizinan DRX Pay. Jadi nanti
DRX Pay ya?
DRX Pay. Nah itu kan perizinannya sedikit panjang.
Bukan panjang lagi, kayaknya agak susah.
Susah bang, susah. Tapi mudah-mudahan kita bisa ikutin regulation. Kita menghargai lah para stakeholder di pemerintahan kita yang sangat support terhadap inovasi ini.
Berarti kalau yang sekarang ini kan masih baju nih ya. Sementara kan Apple itu kan banyak ya, kayak sepatu, topi, ya kan, kemudian celana. Even like small things,
equipment for boxing,
equipment for many things, right?
Yeah.
So now we are going to there also.
So right now,
just only this.
For now, yes, apparel. So we have shorts, we have training, whatever, everything. Like we have caps, but soon. Maybe boxing gloves and many more. Kita explore lah. Kita very new in the
tapi
space.
samping itu gini bro, kalau kita lihat dari bisnis prosesnya, katakanlah sebuah klub, ya kan. Nah, mereka kan tidak fokus kan ke PL itu ya sampingan lah. Mereka fokus ke bagaimana mengejar juara kan gitu ya.
Betul.
Nah, berarti ada di divisi lain dong. Bagaimana katakan Apple ini dicetak gitu atau dibuat gitu ya. Nah kalau di DRX sendiri apakah kerjasama langsung ke mereka sebagai istilahnya sebagai pembuatnya atau misalkan bajunya dari mereka kemudian kalian tinggal tempel code-nya aja atau gimana sih prosesnya bro?
Siap bang. Jadi bang kita di tahun ini di season ini di BRI Liga 1 untuk sepak bola kita adalah sponsor terbesar untuk apparel. Jadi 5 klub di Liga 1 memakai baju DRX. Kalau boleh saya namakan satu Dewa United, Persik Kediri, PSIS Semarang, Madura United, sama PSM Makassar.
Wow, serius?
Jadi 5 dari 15. Jadi 30% dari seluruh market udah pakai baju DRX.
Nah, 1/5 ya, 1/5 ya.
So prosesnya kemarin adalah pertama mereka senang banget dengan inovasi ini. Jadi produk mereka tidak bisa dipalsukan.
Itu termasuk untuk ini player
Semuanya, semua produk termasuk player issue. Jadi mereka
player issue ya.
Semuanya ada NFC-nya dan bisa dicek, bisa diklaim. Bahkan nanti ada fitur-fitur keren lah, dari pemain langsung bisa transfer kepada fans directly.
Oh, I see.
Nah, jadi kemarin prosesnya adalah semuanya kita yang atur sendiri, kita punya pabrik sendiri juga dan kita produce semuanya.
Itu tuh pertanyaan gua, bro. Berarti you make your own.
We make our own products.
Your own fabrics ya.
Ya, kita ada pabrik sendiri dan kita bikin produknya sendiri in house.
Karena kan ya lagi-lagi kan kita ya istilahnya ngeliat lah kalau misalkan beberapa Apple di World ya kan, kayak misalkan Nike, Adidas, Puma ya kan lain-lain, mereka kan sudah ikat kontrak misalkan ke beberapa klub-klub besar gitu ya. Betul. Nah ya kita tidak pungkirin bahwa baju-baju atau produksi yang dihasilkan mereka ya Nike, Adidas itu kualitasnya sangat luar biasa gitu. Dengan harga yang fantastik juga kan. Betul. Nah berarti kalian tidak ada kerjasama dengan mereka atau akan ada kerjasama, karena yang seperti yang lu bilang tadi kan, bahwa you make your own fabric kan, which is you make your own product kan. Itu gimana bro kira-kira?
Jadi gini bang, menurut saya tidak mau compete dengan Nike, Adidas, Puma. Saya mau bikin market sendiri.
Oh, you make your own market ya?
Because saya mengajak para fans apa para pembeli DRX untuk masuk ke dalam ekosistem DRX Sportnet. Di mana saya akan bangun super app semua terhadap olahraga. So nanti kedepannya mereka bisa lihat videos, bisa upload videos, upload fotos, bisa add friends. Jadi everything about sports is gonna be in one app.
Berarti ini sebagai gerbang jalan aja ya?
Exactly, bang.
As a gateway.
It's a gateway, gerbang jalan doang.
Tapi ujungnya sebenarnya socialify.
Saya mau punya super app Sportnet, DRX Sportnet super app. Dan saat ini dalam app kita juga ada token kita kan.
Iya. Berarti ada kayak semacam komunitas.
Betul.
Ya, mirip inilah ya, kayak sosial media gitu lah ya.
Betul.
Berarti you bring the community into the platform ya.
Betul bang. So that's the main goal.
Tapi kalau memang yang sekarang itu baju-bajunya yang dari 5 klub itu kalian provide?
Kita yang produce sendiri, kita yang sponsor, kita yang provide.
It's big number.
Ya gede bang, gede lumayan.
Ya it's big number bro. Karena kan bisa dibilang kalian sebagai sponsor dong ya?
Sponsor bang, kita udah lumayan lah, sampai jutaan dolar udah sponsor juga.
Itu free kan ya?
Free bang. Kita kerja sama-sama semua klub, itu fully sponsor, 100%.
Wow.
Dari atlet mereka yang kecil, sampai U16 sampai atlet pro.
Semua klub ya?
Full.
Dari umur yang kecil sampai yang senior ya?
Full. Dan itu adalah salah satu terobosan yang keren juga yang dilakukan oleh DRX. Saya dan tim juga bangga lah bisa masuk di Liga 1 dengan langsung 5 klub. Karena itu adalah terobosan lumayan gede.
Oh iya. Karena kan memang ya kalau kita lihat ke belakang ya perebutan kursi ya kan, perebutan kursi tentang jersey ya kan. Jersey Indonesia kemarin kan agak sedikit goyang-goyang ya kan.
Aduh bahaya
ya kan. Ini kita nggak bicara politik.
Betul.
Kita hanya bicara tentang bagaimana sebenarnya persaingan di jersey ownership itu ya lumayan besar gitu loh bro.
Iya betul.
Karena kan ya kita tahu lah, lu bilang pendapatan 3 terbesar dari sebuah klub itu kan salah satunya dari merchandise. Kan gitu ya. Walaupun timnya anjlok tapi pendapatan tetap ada.
Betul.
Ya itu dari salah satunya dari merchandise kan gitu ya.
Betul.
Nah, jadi menurut lo sendiri bro, kalau misalkan berangkatnya dari jersey itu sendiri, kira-kira ada inovasi-inovasi lain gak sih yang lu lihat di sana?
Jadi menurut saya bang, kita udah membuat direct access dari pemain kepada fans.
Oh direct access ya?
Direct access.
Oh, fans to the players.
Gimana? Karena soon players itu akan upload mereka punya nomor-nomor yang mereka pakai. Itu bisa ditransfer kepada para fans. Di dalam application kita bakal ada direct communication dengan atlet ini. Jadi mereka it's gonna be a blogging space. Where people can communicate directly with the fans, can communicate directly with the clubs that work together with us.
Asalkan jangan lupa main bola ya. Takutnya sibuk jawab ini fansnya kan. Enggak latihan ya kan.
Enggak harus latihan kalau dikeluarin dari klub itu.
Nanti pikir lebih banyak duitnya di sini ya kan.
Enggak lah tapi
Bro Miguel, from your side, this technology, you said that NFT combined to the blockchain itself. Actually, the blockchains will cover the globals, right?
Correct.
Cover the globals. So now, like guys say it like 5 club Indonesia, right? So you wanna move to another clubs in the world or what? Or maybe like you have like fans outside there. Then if everybody wants to buy, so you distribute them or what?
Yeah, the way that again. When I joined DRX, one of the things that I loved about the vision of the company itself and the technology that we are developing is the fact that we started in Indonesia, but we are going from Indonesia to the world, right?
Indonesia to the world.
Indonesia to the world, exactly. So what I mean by this is that we didn't stop with Indonesia. We are already making a lot of moves currently, starting in Thailand, Dubai, etc. So people can expect us to see everywhere really soon, because as Cash was mentioning before, as soon as somebody buys apparel or installs our app, they're in a different ecosystem where they can do a lot of different actions. As you mentioned before, people to book a field for paddle or whatsoever, they need to go to one app.
Oh, itu on the app?
Belum.
Oh, belum. But will be.
Yes, it's on our roadmap. So if you want to book a field, you need to go to one app. If you wanna
battle, battle is okay, good.
Yes,
battle. Example that I'm want to battle you.
Yeah,
I can invite you. Wait, bro, we have to battle.
Let's play.
Matchmaking. Right?
Yes.
So that's gonna be part of our social
it's very
features,
good,
right?
Yeah.
If you wanna meet people with common interests,
Hadiahnya token. That's a very good idea.
Harusnya.
Jadi kita misalnya Bang Bel bilang, ayo nantang lo, gue main paddle yuk. Hadiah prize poolnya ayo 1000 DRX token. Ayo, kalau abang accept kita mah.
Yeah, that's not gamble, bro.
No, it's motivation.
Right?
Yeah.
But so we are building an app where people can tap to do anything related to sports. Either that's buying apparel, booking fields, meeting your favorite player, sharing your best moments, etc.
Why you don't think about like bulu tangkis, bro?
Apa itu?
Badminton.
Oh, badminton.
I thought badminton is the sport number 1.
It is
in many fans of it.
It is
even like maybe like a JoJo. They have a fans around the world.
Yeah.
But I don't think so. Like let's say the football players in our locals, they have fans in outside. I don't think so.
Yeah.
If you compare with the badminton player, what do you think? I thought that is good.
No, benar. You're right, Bang. I mean, what in Indonesia, one of the biggest sports is badminton, right?
Yes,
kita udah menang medali emas berkali-kali dan it's amazing. Dan kita sih bangga, Bang, saat ini kerjasama dengan NOC, jadi National Olympic Committee, KOI. Kita juga kerjasama dengan KOI, jadi Komite Olahraga Indonesia. Dan kita sudah melakukan langkah-langkah kecil lah untuk masuk ke dalam beberapa cabang olahraga lainnya. Karena kan tahun lalu kita fokus di sepak bola, tapi sekarang tahun depan mudah-mudahan kita bisa masuk ke badminton, golf.
I'm a golf player.
You're a golfer, nice. So hopefully kita bisa masuk ke beberapa tempat lah, beberapa sektor. Karena kan contoh, Bang.
But this is huge market,
Huge market, Bang. Dan
even you talk about the football itself,
it's a big market and it's very time consuming, Bang. Maksudnya gini, saya untuk bisa mendapatkan 5 klub itu aja di 1 tahun itu adalah pekerjaan sangat ribet dan berat.
Very long ya.
Very long process. Jadi saya di sepak bola udah saya bisa manage. So now I move to next one. Then next one. Then next one. So I want to control every sports.
But you have to choose like a 5 biggest sports more fans, because
of course
in crypto yourself, you know that community is very important, right? So you have to know which one is the community is the biggest of these sports. Especially in Indonesia, because every country is a different taste of sport, right?
True.
Let's say like America, USA, they like football field, right?
Football,
They don't like soccer. soccer is not.
Portugal is only football.
Yeah, and the other one is like a basketball, right?
Yeah.
And also the softball.
Yeah, softball. Yeah.
They are very famous with that.
Yeah.
But maybe in Europe, football is the number one.
True.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
In India, what's the name? The crickets.
Cricket.
Yeah, the crickets, right?
Yeah, cricket
That's
is
the very famous
very
one.
famous
So
one, yeah.
every country is a different
True.
sport fans.
Betul.
So you have to think about it. Indonesia is badminton, bro. That's number one.
True.
Right.
I agree, badminton is number one, Bang. Tapi dengan populasi 270 juta orang, menurut saya yang bisa menggabungkan kita bareng di satu stadion GBK.
Oh, that's only football.
50.000 orang
Yes,
bisa
yes,
penuh
yes.
GBK
Yeah,
sampai GBK bisa getar dan goyang. Hanya sepak
Only
bola.
football. Yes, of course. I agree with that.
Jadi itu adalah market pertama yang kita masuk karena kita tahu bahwa sepak bola ini sangat intim lah.
Iya. Karena memang this is good news ya for us ya. Kita ya sepak bola kita udah mulai maju, ya kan. Kita udah masuk ke ke round ketiga ya. Third round of the for the World Cup, which is ini nggak pernah kita lampauin sampai sekarang gitu ya. Jadi hype bola juga sekarang udah makin naik ya. Okay, it's good.
If I may add, I love the fact that you just mentioned about localization.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that again, on my position that I really focus on working with the team is as you mentioned, for every market we go, the culture is different. The sports, the favorite sports are different. The audience is really different. The language is different. Every market or country that we go, right? So one of the things that we are working really hard is to make sure to adapt to all the cultures and all the audiences. So for example, if you talk about Thailand, we talk about Muay Thai, etc.
Oh yeah, Thailand,
right?
Muay Thai, yes.
Talk about Indonesia, you talk about football, badminton, etc. If you talk Europe, mostly can talk about this football.
Sports,
So we are making sure that we adapt to each culture, and even the token itself, utilities, gonna be applied for different. Like in Portugal, you can book fields in Portugal, etc. In Indonesia, you can book fields in Indonesia. So we are really looking towards not to become a corporate where just was a strategy for everyone, but actually going localized.
Yeah, what I think is your idea is very big. Very big.
That's why I need you to support
me. That to control this big one, you have like a step move, one step move, right?
Yeah.
Because you cannot control everything, bro.
Betul.
So
jadi
maybe you have to focus on one thing first, make it bigger, and you can go to another one.
Of course. Jadi gitu Bang. Makanya kita mengambil waktu. We were taking our time. Kita berdiri 2022. Saat ini baru kita udah mungkin lebih dapat exposure yang cukup gede. Berarti kan kita udah 3 tahun nih. Nah, jadi memang kita.
Oh, ini udah 3 tahun ya?
Udah 3 tahun.
Oke.
Kita 3 tahun, tapi kan kita prosesnya juga perizinan untuk token ini kan butuh waktu.
Butuh waktu juga ya.
Kita puji Tuhan udah lengkap perizinan.
Udah listing juga kan di mana sekarang?
Kita listing udah di Indodax.
Oh, Indodax.
Mobi
ya.
Ajaib. Reku.
Oh, Reku udah ya?
Globally Bitmart.
Oh, global di Bitmart. Oh, kemarin ya waktu
di Dubai.
Token ya, Dubai. Anyway, we talk about Dubai. It's okay.
Dubai.
I just forgot it.
Yeah. Jadi Dubai was fun, Bang. Happy to see you in Dubai. Kita DRX jadi salah satu produk. DRX token was the only Indonesian token yang ada booth di sana.
Oh yes.
Dan di Indonesian Pride, Bang. Indonesian Pride. Jadi pas kita buka token di sana, dapat feedback bagus banget, ya kan. Semua orang di sana kita bisa compete globally. Belum ada produk kayak kita. Bahkan banyak orang approach kita. We had so many other people coming to us and asking us, wow, can we collaborate? This is a good technology. Jadi menurut saya yang kita dapat dan belajar dari token 2049 adalah firstly, kalau kita mau gede, kita harus bareng. Gak bisa gede sendiri.
Udah kayak pepatah zaman dulu ya.
Iya,
bersatu kita teguh,
bercerai
kita runtuh.
Betul, Bang. Kita
satu sapu lidi tidak cukup untuk menyapu halaman. Harus butuh ratusan sapu lidi untuk bisa menyapu halaman.
Setuju, Bang. Jadi kalau kita mau melakukan goncangan dan melakukan
shake the world
to be we
together,
have to do it together. Nggak bisa. We have to collaborate.
Tapi kan kita desentralisasi, bro.
Betul. Decentralized betul, Bang. Tapi
decentralized technology.
Community. But the vision is one ya.
Community is one. Community is one.
Oke.
Gitu, Bang. So Jadi keren lah, maksudnya kita jadi ke token kebanggaan, dan I think it was a very big step to do, big risk juga, but we did it and it's a successful, very successful token 2049 event for us, for DRX.
Terus untuk rencananya ke depan exchange yang mau listing masih ada lagi atau only Betmat?
Pasti ada.
Oh, pasti ada ya, pasti.
Ada beberapa yang global itu lah. Kalau kemarin di token 2049 kita kayak proof of concept di sana.
Oh ya, POC.
Tadi kemarin tadi baru bilang kalau mau ketemu project yang lain harus atau mau sponsor tim yang lain, kita selalu harus cari. Tapi posisi kita sekarang brands dan project dan exchanges udah mulai cari kita. Jadi posisi udah beda dari.
So before you find them 100%. And now they find you. Yeah. I will find you. Yeah.
Yes. Now it's about prioritization. Before it was about chasing, and because as a new project you always need to do the first steps, but now it's about prioritization.
Jangan-jangan nanti produk lokal bisa merapat nih, gitu. Tapi lu stick gak? Maksudnya stick to your opinion gak bahwa misalkan nih semua baju everything is production by you, atau you mau open partnership with another apparel brand?
Sebenarnya gini Bang, menurut saya kita kan sekarang udah membuat ekosistem namanya DRX Sportnet.
Oke.
Jadi ke depannya kita sangat happy untuk collaboration. Kita nggak ada masalah. Jadi baju bisa pakai produk X, tapi authenticate-nya by DRX. Sama aja, just like Supreme. The brand Supreme, they collaborate with LV, with Adidas, with Nike, with Puma. So we just want to collaborate. And kita mau expand our community. That's it. We want to build technology. So that's why saya selalu ingatkan tim dan diri saya sendiri bahwa kita bukan brand apparel. We are a tech company.
Okay.
We are a sport tech company.
Not DRX. DRX is not the brand apparel.
Yeah, DRX is a sports tech company. We are technology based. We are not an apparel company.
Itu yang harus lo selalu tekankan ke tim kan ya. Karena beda visi dong itu.
Betul. Karena ini adalah gateway doang untuk kita punya application. That's it.
That's what I always remind the team and also people from outside, because a lot of
confusion.
There is a little bit of confusion because we started as an apparel brand. But people don't realize that was actually our gateway, as you guys mentioned, to our blockchain technology and to become a technology company, right? Because a lot of tokens are launched before having any real utility, any real items, etc. We did the reverse. We first proved that we are capable of developing technology, and after we developed the token. So
technology
we did reverse
first, then physical
kita proof of concept dulu.
Second
Yes.
Alright bro, kemarin gue baca tuh beberapa di lintas sosial media tuh, itu kalian ngomongin tentang identity tuh bro. Bisa cerita sedikit gak?
Boleh Bang.
Mau ngarah kemana nih? Identity yang mau dibangun sama DRX seperti apa sih?
Jadi gini Bang, izin.
Karena ini kan kemarin WorldCoin kan lagi
lagi ada masalah.
WorldCoin kan salah satu bisa dibilang sebagai
terobosan.
Ya, terobosan untuk identity gitu. Karena dia ngambil retina kita, ngambil face kita, dia simpan di dalam blockchain gitu ya. Tapi ini lagi Komdigi lagi kebatasan nih.
Which is bagus.
What do you talk about?
Jadi
identity.
Kita gini Bang, kita kemarin tidak ada pembicaraan tentang anything about scaling. So it was just a pure communication and discussion terhadap blockchain technology. Melaporkan kita punya progress selama ini dan minta izin untuk melangkah global. Jadi kita hanya duduk diskusi sama Pak Wamen kemarin terhadap inovasi DRX. As simple as that. Kita nggak kemana-mana kok. Jadi media mungkin bicaranya single identity or whatever, nothing like that. It's just a simple conversation. Kita diterima untuk menjelaskan tentang produk kami karena cukup viral, dan saat ini kan DRX token adalah project kebanggaan Indonesia ya. Token pertama yang bisa scale segini gede gitu kan, bisa ikut global events, bisa sponsor bahkan banyak sponsor dunia lain yang kita belum expose actually outside of sports, which is a lot of things that kita do.
Iya, kemarin juga ketemu sama Federasi Muay Thai ya.
Iya, kita ketemu sekjennya Muay Thai, Mr. Stephen Fox, dan kita akan melakukan langkah sangat dalam di dalam Muay Thai dan melakukan terobosan yang cukup keren juga ya di World Muay Thai, so International Federation.
World Muay Thai.
Ya, International Federation. Berarti ini terobosan yang akan kami lakukan.
Kenapa nggak silat dulu, silat?
Iya, pelan-pelan. Indonesian Pride pasti bang. Cuman kemarin kita ketemu dengan Mr. Stephen Fox dan dia juga amazed tentang tech kita dan games kita. Mudah-mudahan secepatnya kita bisa mendeklarasikan kerjasama dengan mereka dan setelah kita kerjasama dengan International Federation berarti seluruh dunia harus mengikuti aturan tersebut. Jadi mudah-mudahan hopefully we can make a good impact for Muay Thai.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see, bro. So inside of your mind, bro, that's of course ya kan, DRX token ini like tokens as usual, right? Yeah. So do you any like for example like a reward for the stable coin, or just use this DRX for all the transactions in your platform?
Okay, so I think it depends case by case, right? If you're talking about Indonesia itself, in Indonesia it's not allowed to pay with crypto, right? If that's the question.
Yeah.
So in Indonesia, crypto is a digital asset, cannot be used as a currency.
Yeah.
Right. Worldwide, we are considering a lot of paths that we can proceed worldwide, but we would like to believe that in the near future, our token gonna have a lot of applications. Some of them are going to be real world applications, exactly, because Web3 applications, we are already developing swap system where users can exchange their X points to tokens, where users can play games, get tokens, claim shirts, claim apparel, get points, and swap it to tokens. So we are really building a staking solutions, everything on Web3 space on chain, right?
So you are using one single price for the DRX. For example, for the claiming this one, so I get the tokens.
You get points.
Right?
You get points.
Yeah.
Then you convert the points to token.
So it's different, right?
It's different because
so it's different. The points to the tokens is different. That's what I mean.
It's a dynamic rate.
Okay.
It's a dynamic rate.
Yeah.
So it will adjust
because the token itself
price.
is a volatile, right?
Exactly.
Volatile, yes.
Okay.
And then we have
so you make it the differences,
Yeah,
so
it's
you
already
get just
everything
the point.
built.
Yeah.
I see. So example, bro, that's we're talking before, right?
Yeah.
So example, I claim this. Okay, ini udah punya gue nih.
Yeah, this is yours. Abang itu nanti nomornya loh di.
Okay. Thank you for this one, right?
Thank you, bang.
So
Specially made for you.
Okay, I love this one, right?
Maybe after 3 years, this can be auction for very
auction,
good cost.
Auction, So you have to sign it now.
Okay, I signed it.
So what I mean like this, bro. Example, like maybe like 1 year later, right? 1 year later, and the DRX token is going out, right?
Yeah.
So I want to sell this one.
Yeah.
Mungkin gua lagi butuh duit nih. Okay. So these transactions can be done in the platform or not?
So we are creating actually. I can add a little bit here. So
Please.
It's a little bit of spoil, but we are creating actually a marketplace where users are gonna be able to pay different currencies.
Marketplace for the
Yes, I cannot spoil too much. That's part of the roadmap.
Okay,
but we're gonna allow users actually to list their items.
List the items so everybody can sell, because you know that I have dreamed some platform which is example I want to sell, right? So people always asking that it is authentic, it is legitimate, it is real or what? Okay? And they say like, do you have the invoices or something or this?
Iya, pasti. Karena
jadi menurut gua this is something innovations for next futures yang menyatakan bahwa what I sell, I buy ini real gitu loh, right?
Karena gini bang, saya pengen juga nanya ya. Sekarang kalau kita ke marketplace apapun itu ya, contoh saya bahkan bawa nama Tokopedia. Kalau saya membeli sesuatu, saya langsung akan cari yang official, yang reviewnya banyak, yang jelas. Karena pertama saya takutnya apa? Takut kena scam, takut palsu. Tapi sekarang di platform kita udah nggak ada lagi pemikiran pertama gue bakal di scam, langsung adalah gue suka produk ini, gue beli ini, jebret, dan
jadi mengurangin filter-filter yang tidak
kita
perlu.
filter otak kita fokus dalam hal yang simple aja. Kalau simple kenapa kita ribetin hidup? Betul nggak, Pak?
I understand what you mean.
It's educational approach, right? We are teaching people by sponsoring with big clubs, etc. We are also getting exposure and teaching people that if you buy with DRX, you always safe.
Tapi itu terjadi di Indonesia, bro. Kalau lu ke Jepang, ya kan, lu ke Eropa, ada barang palsu.
Betul. Tapi ada.
Portugal gimana? Sama aja seperti Indonesia. Saya udah di Indonesia 7 tahun.
Jepang no, right?
Sama. Pasti ada. Di mana-mana ada.
Wow.
Itu mafia palsu ya, mafia palsu.
Di mana-mana ada.
Di mana-mana ada.
Mafia palsu.
Okay.
It's a lot of money to be made, a lot of revenue to be made in the false business, right?
And all is made from China.
maybe made from China, made from Indonesia, made from everywhere. Kalau udah palsu ya
but
udah.
There is a lot of
that. Yeah.
You see a lot of foreigners coming to Indonesia. Or to everywhere in the world. You go to Thailand, Indonesia, you see the same thing. You see them going, a lot of foreigners or locals from other countries, and buying jerseys from their favorite clubs in these type of countries because it's easier to access. In Europe, there is a lot. It's a little bit more hidden.
Yeah, more hidden.
But there is a lot. There is a little bit more control. But there is a lot of fake marketing. A lot.
Okay, so you cannot control the market, right?
Cannot.
You cannot control the market. So you need to control is the distribution.
No, so that's why Bang, what I said was that kita udah tahu nih ada kelompok-kelompok mafia yang melakukan barang palsu. It's a big money. Ya udah saya nggak usah masuk ke sana, saya bikin ekosistem sendiri aja. Di RX ini barang asli. Udah lo mau ikut di sini
sama kayak lo buat official store sendiri dong. Iya nggak sih?
Iya, jadi saya membuat online presence saya sendiri, ya mau ikut ya silakan. Kalau mau barang asli ya silakan. Lo mau beli yang ini ya silakan. Lo terserah, saya nggak ganggu kok. Saya bikin my own market. Because saya nggak akan bisa kalahin market yang bikin barang-barang palsu, Bang. Itu udah project jutaan billions of dollars invested in fake products.
Betul.
Right? And again, I'm gonna be a little bit biased because I'm Portuguese here, so I'm gonna talk about one of my favorite players, which is Ronaldo, right?
Messi, anti-Messi.
I know you are team Messi. We can agree to disagree.
I am Messi and you Ronaldo. So you 2 versus 1, bro.
Yeah. Oh, you're Ronaldo.
Yes.
Man.
There you go.
Messi is the GOAT.
Minority here.
Okay.
But as an example, if you have your number of shirts is a 4102 whatever, you get Cristiano Ronaldo to sign it. People can consider it as a legit signature, right? Because we're gonna have a system that people actually can update the NFT. It's gonna be a dynamic product. Okay, so if you get a signature, we're gonna have a mechanism that people can prove it that is legit. You can sell this in auction, etc. You can sell this to donation, etc. So that's another market, right? Which is the fake signatures, etc.
Yes. Even like I don't know, will be the market or not. Example like in your platform, maybe you can make like a limited for the 100% who wants to get a sign for the Ronaldo. And they pay. Maybe they pay for that. Maybe if they got Ronaldo signs on that on that shirt.
On the jersey,
What do you think? It's very good, right?
I mean, benar Bang. Kalau kita ujung-ujungnya kan yang kita butuh adalah masses.
Yes.
Yang what made Ronaldo famous is his skill, but what made him is the fans.
The fans.
Right? Kan?
Today, even you have a skill. Do you have the fans? You're nothing, right?
Exactly. Jadi yang membentuk Ronaldo itulah dia punya fans. Which is fans is the power. So if today the fans collaborate together in one platform called DRX, we can shake the nation, Bang.
Call the global also.
Once we go global, imagine now there is a platform called DRX where people can come in, they can join the DRX, they can buy the token to join the flow. But if one community becomes big, kita juga bisa datang ke sana. Kita bisa datang ke Ronaldo, gimana nih? Lo mau gabung apa enggak? Kita datang bawa dunia, bos.
Betul.
Indonesia sendiri 270 juta orang, belum market lain.
Betul.
Ya gitulah Bang. Intinya kita kalau disupport, kita fans support us, dan DRX can become the next big thing.
Gila sih itu ya.
And they can make money in the progress.
Because
they can play games. They can interact with quests that we are currently developing. As an example, if you follow social media, you get points. If you do this action, you get points. You can exchange it to DRX tokens. So it's another source of revenue. Because I have this idea before, but it's not for sports. It's for the K-pop.
Oh, K-pop, yeah.
Because the K-pop is very
Hype.
Hype in Indonesia.
Yes.
So like 2 years ago,
Yeah.
I have to make. We say it is clicks. It's clicks. It means that I can join sama misalkan 4 orang atau 5 orang, gue mau ngobrol nih secara langsung sama Korean artis itu. Jadi kita undang di aplikasi itu.
Oh ya?
Yeah,
Bisa.
yeah. So I thought that it's a good idea for that
Yeah,
because
betul bang.
it's not a K-pop. This is about sport, right?
Yeah, yeah,
because
Meet and greet
Yeah.
almost, right?
because like Ronaldo said, they have Instagram
Of
only,
course,
right?
of course.
For the fans.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this one is two-way, right?
Two-way, yeah.
Two-way.
Betul. So
Can talk with them directly.
Maybe
asking with them
true. Yeah,
directly.
maybe. So if the support of the fans of DRX is big, we can create a platform where there's so much demand. Misalnya udah 100.000 orang dari Indonesia bilang gue mau ngomong sama Ronaldo, dia harus live. Dia bilang hello, gue mau bilang dia apa? Ya udah same thing. Come into our platform. Our platform gets big enough, we speak to Ronaldo, we'll do it for you.
That's good idea,
Saya
right?
spoil sedikit lagi,
Yeah.
pasti nanti dia mungkin sedikit marah tapi nggak apa-apa.
Aduh, bocor ya, bocor.
Jangan
ya, Miguel.
dimasukkan apa yang tidak bocor nih, bahaya.
Ayo,
nih.
apa Miguel?
harusnya bocor.
Aduh.
Gini.
Tapi kalian udah terlalu jauh, gak akan pernah mungkin dikejar. That's about execution, bro.
Execution.
Don't worry.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Okay.
So we are actually just picking up that exactly point because we are in the DeFi world. We are also actually developing a platform where our holders and our people that interact with our ecosystem going to be able to vote on features,
Vote on the features.
and upcoming again features, utilities, etc. And that can be one of the things they might vote on.
You are
and we're
going
gonna
to
make
the
it
bet
work.
or not?
To the
Bet.
bet.
No, no betting.
No betting.
No
Halal.
Like Polymarket.
No.
Why?
No.
100% halal.
It's okay.
No.
Okay, good.
We stick to
Stick
our
to the
main
grounds.
main plan.
Yeah, yeah.
Foundation, yeah.
Yeah, I know. But big market of the sport
Yeah.
is betting.
Yeah, it is. No, see, so betting is there in the sport, but that's not in our regulation. So Indonesia is not
No. You
allowed
can
to.
just go to the other country. You make your own platform there.
But we
for
don't.
Indonesia,
We don't.
you
Dari
can block
Indonesia
it.
to the world.
We're Indonesia to the world, right? Jadi we want-
Indonesia to the world.
So we want to follow
We
Indonesian.
lead by example,
We
right?
want to lead by example, and we want to follow our own regulation. For example, it doesn't have to be betting. Instagram is big without betting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Facebook is big without betting.
Attention retention.
So many
okay.
platforms are big without betting. So
Okay.
why? We can do it. We can make it big.
All right. Okay.
And we don't understand about the betting industry actually.
Oke, ini yang gue suka di jawabannya. So no betting on platform ya?
No betting at all.
Oke.
There is a lot of ways that we can drive revenue to the business without putting ourselves in that industry that we want to stay our grounds from Indonesia to the world.
Yeah.
So leading by example, right? As an example, one of the things that I'm gonna spoil again. It is what it is.
Yeah, okay, you can spoil it exclusively.
Exclusively, like
Exclusively,
one of the things
yeah. Okay.
Like as an example, we can allow brands to put advertising on our platform.
Yeah,
and users interact with the brand and they get points. So both parties win. So there is a lot of ways that users can drive revenue, interact. We as a business can drive revenue to the business to build more technology. So there is a lot of ways for us to grow the business without going to that industry specifically. Which everyone tells the same thing. Because on the sports industry, you guys should do that. We always stick our foot in the floor and say no.
Okay. So many development of this product I think ya.
Yeah.
Jadi yang untuk pembuatan ini sendiri itu punya divisi lain.
Punya.
Punya divisi lain untuk
Jadi,
production ya?
Yes, production. Jadi production ada partner kita namanya Sanjeev, he's the CEO.
Atau ya mungkin side business or what?
No. So no. There's our CEO as well, my brother, my partner Sanjeev. So he's in charge of into production. And then dia outsource. Beberapa ada yang dia outsource, beberapa kita jahit sendiri in-house. We make it ourselves. So yeah, we divide the job, we divide the work. Miguel is into operations, I'm into marketing and handling the tech.
But the point is, you're not a PL company. Right?
No. We are a tech company.
All day.
We are a tech company.
Okay.
Full stop. Titik.
So bro, do you think like you said like ini udah jalan 3 tahun kan?
Yeah.
Gue baru tahu juga udah jalan 3 tahun. Gue pikir baru tahun lalu bro.
No.
Kan? Udah 3 tahun berarti menurut lu regulasi untuk listing di Indonesia itu gampang gak sih? Untuk
Wah,
sebuah token project
susah.
atau seperti apa sih bro? Maksudnya
Susah.
kalaupun susah itu konsennya mereka itu susah itu apa gitu loh bro?
Gitu, jadi
What's make them like ragu-ragu gitu?
gitu. Jadi
Why?
gini Bang. Terutamanya ya regulasi susah banget. Barrier to entry untuk di dunia di Indonesia is very difficult. Sekarang regulasi harus di-approve oleh OJK.
Oke.
Harus di-approve oleh Bapepti.
Oke.
Harus di-approve oleh CFX bursa.
All money or not?
Sorry?
All giving money or not?
No, nothing.
Oh, okay.
No, not at all. So,
Why smile, bro?
No smile. But
Okay.
really, Bang, soalnya contoh kalau tadinya giving money, mungkin ini perusahaan 6 bulan udah jadi, not 3 years.
Oke,
We took 3 years because we do it the right way, the
Yeah.
proper way. Kita respect semua stakeholder yang ada di sini,
Yeah.
yang menjaga dan regulate crypto. Menurut saya juga penting di
Yeah.
satu hal, soalnya banyak scammer di crypto.
Oke.
Banyak rug pull di kripto.
Iya.
Kasian masyarakat kalau kena scam.
Iya. Tapi kan menurut gua tidak adil
Iya.
kalau misalkan meme coin
Iya.
itu lebih cepat listingnya
Nah, karena
dibandingkan dengan katakan DRX
Iya.
yang sudah punya jelas bisnisnya.
iya,
Kayak I don't think so gitu bro.
betul. Mungkin
Why?
gitu ya. Mudah-mudahan bisa dibantu dengan dipercepat lah regulasinya gitu kan.
Iya.
Cuman betul yang abang bilang, meme coin itu gara-gara mereka adalah perusahaan luar negeri.
Even bukan perusahaan bro.
Iya, even
Itu udah CTO, bro.
udah CTO,
Community take over, bro.
Betul. Dan ya itu
There is no leaders on it. There is no
Exactly.
company on
Kita
it.
nggak tahu
There is
siapa.
nothing bro.
There is nothing.
It's a hype thing.
It's a
Yeah,
hype thing.
just only
Tapi-
hype thing, right?
But that's a very good point, you know. Kenapa it's so difficult for us yang jelas, padahal
Iya.
yang nggak jelasnya segitu gampang.
Iya.
But
Itu
hopefully
yang harus perlu kalian pertanyakan sama mereka.
betul. Mudah-mudahan kita bisa sih Bang. Maksudnya ya kita leading by example lah. Ini kan token Indonesia pertama yang sudah go segini gede globally. Dan makanya kita diterima juga di pemerintahan, kita diterima untuk mendiskusi dan mentukar pikiran sama mereka. So mudah-mudahan kita bisa diskusi dan mungkin
Saya kira
next
sekarang
podcast,
kita udah nggak bicara tabu lagi tentang kripto. Kenapa? Amerika contohnya
Ya.
dengan Donald Trump terang-terangan kok ngomong tentang Bitcoin, right?
betul,
Terang-terangan ngundang RXP, Cardano untuk berdiskusi.
betul.
So ini bukan hal yang tabu lagi gitu. This is
Betul.
udah open public.
Ya betul.
Nah kalau Amerika melakukan itu, why Indonesia is just only keep silent,
Ya.
close the ears? Why?
Tapi Bang dengan bentuknya Danantara sekarang,
Ah.
menurut saya ada isu-isu kemarin ya, yang mereka akan beli 1% untuk
Ya,
Bitcoin,
1%, ya.
kalau nggak salah
Dari
ya.
10 triliun 1% berapa itu?
Ya,
10.000,
Ya.
sekitar 10,
ya,
100 triliun ya.
ya. Saya nggak tahu persis berapa persen yang mereka kemarin diskusikan. Cuman menurut saya langkah itu aja udah lumayan
Oh ya,
besar
itu akan mempercepat adopsi kan.
pasti.
Tadi pagi gue ditelepon sama teman gue, which
Ya.
is mungkin 3 tahun lalu skeptis banget dengan kripto.
Kripto.
Ya. Tadi pagi gue ditelepon, gara-gara isu Danantara.
Antara ya. Jadi, nah itu aja udah langkah bagus Bang. Menurut saya kan kami sedang bentuk nih. Di sini kan regulasi juga baru.
Iya.
Transisi dari Bapepti ke OJK,
OJK, ya.
baru terjadi.
Iya, iya.
Jadi menurut saya pasti kedepannya akan ada terobosan-terobosan yang keren di kripto di Indonesia. Pasti.
Pasti.
Karena udah people are aware, right? US sudah maju melakukan step
Iya.
untuk Bitcoin. Indonesia sedang mendiskusi dengan internal stakeholders lah gimana cara mereka bisa masuk juga. So it's a good news for us, for crypto people, and very good news for DRX because sekarang token kebanggaan Indonesia adalah DRX saat ini ya.
Itu pun kalau yang kita waktu ke Dubai, itu
Iya.
kan mereka punya VARA,
Ya,
Virtual Asset
betul.
Regulation Authority bro.
Oh ya ya.
Luar biasa.
Ya,
Jadi kita punya OJK.
Ya.
Kemudian punya Bapepti,
Ya.
ya kan. Kemudian mereka punya VARA sendiri,
Satu sendiri untuk
satu sendiri untuk ngurusin virtual
digital
asset.
aja.
Ya, ya.
Itu,
Ya.
artinya secara regulasi mereka udah ketat sekarang bro.
Ya, ya.
And what you know, waktu itu kan kita ngajuin produk kita kan,
Ya.
dan di situ ada NFT marketplace-nya bro.
Oke.
And what you know, what
Ya.
dia bilang license for NFT marketplace itu sama dengan license lu buat exchange.
Wow. Wow.
Luar biasa bro.
Iya, iya, wow.
And mereka bilang juga tokens
Ya.
itu sama aja kayak kami menganggap itu dolar.
Iya betul.
So it is
It's a currency.
like a currency.
It's a currency.
It is a
That's it.
currency.
So it's not easy.
Ya,
It's
betul.
not easy.
Betul.
Tapi kan jelas gitu loh. Jelas
Betul.
mereka token itu currency, itu uang.
Betul, jelas Bang.
Yang
Karena
diregulasi itu bukan komoditas katanya. Itu uang.
Setuju.
Jadi itu diatur sama OJK kita katanya.
betul.
Terus NFT marketplace nggak bisa. Itu sama kayak lu ngambil exchange license.
Ya.
Wow.
You know, I come a little bit non-biased because again, I'm not Indonesian. I've been here for 7 years, but I've always been telling Cash that again, I hear a lot of people mentioning in regards to the why Indonesia is so strict on this and that in regards to the crypto. I actually think the reverse. I think we are one step ahead of everyone else. So I started working in crypto in 2016, 17. And when I started, crypto was supposed to be completely DeFi. It's another way it's a competitor for the fiat, right? Which completely changed the vision after a while when government, etc., or big entities starting to develop ETFs. So it became a currency plus investment assets.
Okay.
Right? And the way that I see it is that if it becomes an investment asset, for sure there is going to be regulation coming through. Okay, otherwise it's going to be it's all going to go south. It's going to become a cowboy world where everyone does whatever they want.
Cowboy world. This is a good word.
So I think for a fact, every country going to start legalizing it. And Indonesia is one step ahead because Indonesia has been doing this for a few years already.
Even like in ASEAN, we are the first one.
Of course.
So I think I see it in
Who make
another way.
this crypto going to white.
Yeah.
Before it's a gray area.
Gray.
And it's difficult to legalize it. It's quite difficult, right? Because it's a huge thing. Crypto, blockchain is a huge thing. But I think Indonesia is one step ahead of a lot of other countries.
You know,
on
Miguel, there is a news, bisa dicek di berita. Kita baru dapat few days ago, I think the media baru liput kita Bang, bahwa Indonesia's regulation is top 3 or top 4 or top 5 in the world. I think top 5. In terms of regulation, we are very good at controlling it. I don't know, is that a good thing or bad thing? What do you think?
You asking me?
Yeah, you think what? No, we want your
if
opinion.
he's a DeFi person, he's gonna say no, no regulation for crypto. But in another end, I think it's a must to happen.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, there is two sides of the story, right? Depends on the person you're talking to. But I think if it has to happen, like every country is creating their own laws. Like Indonesia is 2 steps ahead. It's complicated, but I'm really even me not being Indonesian, I'm married here and I have a kid, so I follow everything that the country is doing. And I'm really proud that Indonesia is going so fast on the crypto adoption. We are one of the biggest countries in the world in terms of crypto adoption. The fourth one. This is amazing.
Amazing, of course.
Right? And we have 200
and we are
million
the
persons.
nations of the consumers.
There you go, right?
True.
Everyone here is used to use
So the money actually in here.
It's here.
The money is here.
Everyone uses
We are
the app
consumers.
here. Everyone uses the app.
Yeah.
Everyone is used to e-money. So everyone gotta get the crypto adoption here gonna be
Even that like Donald Trump is like don't disagree with the QRIS because the useless of the Visa and MasterCard
he wants a tap
is
system.
very, very low rather than QRIS. That's it.
He doesn't agree about crypto.
Yeah, disagree.
Marino,
Disagree.
Really?
Yes, disagree with the QRIS.
Does he know the numbers in Indonesia?
Yeah, that's why he disagree
because
he wants Visa and
MasterCard is not used anymore.
Yeah, jadi kan perusahaan mereka US kan.
Yes. That's it,
Of course.
So I mean, like Indonesia actually is the big country for the consumers.
Of course.
I wish about Indonesia is one day for users to be able to pay with cryptocurrency. That's the only thing that I wish about the regulation to
Every
evolve.
country want it, bro.
Dream, that's the dream.
That's what I dream
That's
about.
the dream, yeah.
Tapi kan kita udah mulai melakukan itu sih. Kayak gua sendiri, gua punya kartu kredit which is backed underlyingnya the crypto. I have a stable coin, I have a ETH, I can pay anything.
It's on ramp.
Using on ramp.
On-ramp exchange automatically to fiat.
Using the card.
Yeah.
Actually, itu udah seamless banget gitu.
Betul.
Even sekarang kayak kemarin di Dubai juga baru diresmikan, mereka udah bisa beli pakai Bitcoin juga, pakai
Bitcoin bisa beli rumah,
di Eropa
bisa beli aset, bisa beli semuanya.
Di Eropa ada beberapa tempat kamu udah bisa bayar kopi pakai Bitcoin gitu, tapi everything it's on ramp.
Kopi yes. I know.
Semua is on ramp, bukan benar biasanya mereka nggak dapat Bitcoin, dapat fiat on ramp.
Oh, I see. Hola. Okay, boy.
Okay.
60 minutes.
Wow. That was fast.
I thought it's like a 5 minutes. Right?
That was fast.
Yeah, very fast.
But thank you for having
Our
us.
time is limited.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for your successful in DRX.
Thank you for your blessings.
I hope so that ini berkembang luas.
Amin.
And especially bro for our nations because we
Amin,
have
amin.
many islands, right?
Amin. Yeah.
I thought that like 10 millions for this year's. Your target for the market is very good.
Hopefully, with everybody's support.
I have support for anything that you need.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
for having us. But we believe we want to work hard, and hopefully our hard work will show, and we can like our mission from Indonesia to the world.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can do it together.
Paid off ya.
Thank you.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you.
Oke, teman-teman Bellpots, berkesan ya ngomong sama DRX ini ya. Mereka punya teknologi yang sudah implement. Jadi nggak hanya ngomong-ngomong tentang ide lagi, nggak ngomong-ngomong tentang visi, yang semua masih ngambang nih. Nah ini sekarang mereka udah buktikan, mereka udah kasih baju ke gua nih yang ada authentication-nya secara NFT dan ini bisa gua klaim sebagai baju gua. Which is kedepannya kalau gua bisa jual bahwa ini real dari gua gitu. Jadi bukan barang palsu lagi. Oke, perkembangan DRX akan terus berlanjut ke depan. Kalau mereka ada perkembangan terbaru kita akan undang lagi. Bagaimana implementasi, karena tadi banyak bocoran dari Miguel nih. Hal-hal yang sangat luar biasa. Kita akan tunggu seperti apa. Semoga bertahan ya bro ya. Karena
Pasti.
you know, token Indonesia kadang-kadang bertahan 2 tahun, 3 tahun dan die.
Ya, nah
Semoga DRX bisa bertahan forever.
harus
Ya kan?
kita akan dan
Menjadi
kita will
sebuah
Solid, steady.
brand marks baru
pasti.
from Indonesia to the world.
Yes.
Oke?
Thank you.
Oke, thank you. Sampai di sini perjumpaan kita. See you in the next topics. Dadah, Bellpots.